almost destroyed my eardrums, my lord. Hello, my friends. How are you doing? I hope it's well. I hope that it is well. It's really bright. It's bright in here. Don't talk to me like I'm the only one. Let's make it darker. How are you all doing? Hello, Soul Bear. Hello, Satyr. How are you? Hello. Got older today, 1 year closer to 40. Moo, happy birthday. Thanks for being here. I hope you have an amazing day. What did you get cake? Did you get cake for your birthday? Do you like cake? When y'all get asked if you're gonna get cake for your birthday, what cake do you pick? In recent years, I've picked cupcakes from Nadia Cupcakes because she was on Cupcake Wars, a premier cupcake shop. Here, let's see if they have the picture of the one that I really like. The raspberry lemonade, that one's so good. Fresh strawberry. Oh no, this is it. This is the Cupcake Wars. The Cupcake Wars winning cheesecake cupcake. Sorry, I can't see it. That's the winning one. It was in Cupcake Wars. Most amazing cheesecake cupcake he's ever tasted. 6 layers starting with a sugared and buttered graham cracker crust, a vanilla bean New York cheesecake, a layer of sour cream glaze, fresh whipped cream, a triple berry compote, and a graham cracker crumble. Amazing. It's so good. It's 10 out of 10. It's really good. This is what I usually get. I'll get at least some of those. We get like 6 of them. They have dog cupcakes too. So I get one of the cheesecakes. I'll probably get a lemon drop because I fuck with lemon. I usually get a red velvet. A triple chocolate, yeah. Ooh! If mom's here, they have a keto brownie. They have 2 keto brownies. Oh my gosh. Salted caramel. Okay, these are these new ones though? Flavors of the day. Fresh strawberry. Love me a fresh strawberry one. Raspberry lemonade also sounds so good, and I'm definitely gonna try that next time. I'm shopping for my birthday early. This is what I get for cake. You'll do cake for the next 2 days. Doing a trampoline park for the kiddo tomorrow with cake sickles or whatever. Bigger cake pops. Oh, that's fun. You said they're turning 6? Oh, that'll be fun. Just like a great way to get him to nap later, right? Take him to the trampoline park, jump around a bunch. That'll be good. Sakau, how are you, my friend? Wanna ruin everything. Oh yeah, didn't the Ed Sheeran copyright case, didn't it? I think it ended and he won, right? Not guilty. Yeah. Let's read it together, chat. This is from ABC. Ed Sheeran is defeated a copyright infringement lawsuit involving his Grammy-winning song Thinking Out Loud and Marvin Gaye's classic Let's Get It On. Manhattan jury has found the musician did not engage in willful copyright infringement following a trial that saw Sheeran playing guitar and singing in court. Jury reached its decision after roughly 3 hours only. Okay. Sheeran, seated at the defense table in a suit and tie between his lawyers, hugged his attorneys when the verdict was read. I'm obviously very happy with the outcome of the case, and it looks like I'm not having to retire from my day job after all. Sheeran told reports outside of the courthouse, but at the same time, I'm unbelievably frustrated that baseless claims like this are allowed to go to court at all. I mean, the plaintiffs declined to make a statement outside of the courthouse following the verdict. Sheeran had been accused of copying the sheet music for Let's Get It On by the family of the... What? I didn't know that they were straight up, like, telling him, saying that he was copying the sheet music of it. Like, that's fucking crazy. Giving credit where credit is due. So he said that he took the rhythm, chord progression, and other elements for the 2014 song Thinking Out Loud without permission from the 1973 classic Let's Get It On, which Crump said became a cornerstone in the American experience. Oops, I didn't want to click that. Crump said Sheeran recognized the magic of Let's Get It On and infringed on its copyright for the tune that won him his first Grammy. Okay, this is all stupid. This is really, like... They're really just trying to, like, take his Grammy away, in a way. Haha, in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're really trying to just, like, let's just see if we can fuck with him and just convince people that he stole the song. Like, he really didn't. It's just he used the same style. Like, if you're gonna write a love song, yeah, Let's Get It On is a cornerstone of American, like, pop music. It is a hit song. But, like, to say, like, and that's the whole thing, is that that's how artistry works, is that you take inspiration from stuff. And if he's gonna try to write a song, like a pop or a love song, of course he's gonna, like, he's gonna write a song like Marvin Gaye, Let's Get It On, because guess what? They were trying to write a love song. It's all the same thing. It's stupid. Okay, the defense, meanwhile, said Sheeran and co-writer Amy Wage independently created the song Thinking Out Loud. Their song was born from an emotional conversation. It was the original creation. Sheeran took the stand throughout the trial, at times singing and playing guitar during his testimony. At one point, the musician performed a mashup on guitar of his songs and Marvin Gaye's as he tried to demonstrate how common the four-chord progression was for his hit Thinking Out Loud. Sheeran also performed some of Thinking Out Loud when he discussed its creation process with Wage. He testified his producers came to refer to the Thinking Out Loud as Sheeran's Van Morrison tune because of the similarities and influence Sheeran said the Northern Irish singer provided. Interesting. They tried to confuse him on the four notes most used in pop music, yeah. During her closing arguments, Farkas said the case never should have been brought and that Sheeran was unjustly accused of copying from Let's Get It On. We all benefit from artists being free to create and build on what came before them. Exactly. Farkas said, warning the jury that a verdict against Sheeran would mean creativity will be stifled for fear of being sued. Crump told jurors that a videotape of Sheeran in concert merging Thinking Out Loud with Let's Getting On is their smoking gun and demonstrates the infringing similarities. The plaintiffs showed a video of Sheeran playing a mashup of the two songs during a concert. If I had done what you're accusing me of doing, I'd be quite an idiot to stand on stage in front of 25,000 people. So when you're picking the jury, do you pick people familiar with music so they'll know what the chord progression is? Or do you go with people who know nothing about music and hope you can get them to hear Let's Get It On? I think, don't they go, like, don't, like, both parties have to select the jury together? Like, when they do the jury interviews? So my guess is that it's both. Like, it depends on whose lawyer you are. If you're defending Ed Sheeran, you're gonna you're gonna try to pick people that have have some sort of music side, you know what I mean? So you can explain to them the 4 chords. And then vice versa, you know what I mean? Sheeran told okay, talking to reporters outside of the courthouse Thursday, juror Sophia Nice said the jury thought long and hard about the questions they were given. We ultimately came to what we thought was the right interpretation of the law that we were given. Townsend Air sued Sheeran, Warner Music Group, and Sony Music Publishing in 2017. This isn't the first time either man's music has been the center of copyright trial. Sheeran won a copyright infringement case last year involving Shape of You, while Gaze Ayers, who are not involved in this current lawsuit, won a case in 2015 against Robin Thicke and Pharrell Williams involving Got to Give It Up. Usually each attorney gets a set number of vetoes. Okay, that makes sense. Remove them all! Get him out of here. LOL. Yeah, basically. I'm glad that this wasn't a precedent that was set, because that really would have sucked. That's something that, like, if this precedent would have been set, there's songs that I have that would have been able to be, I could be sued from them under that standard. And also, like, what happens to when you're in a studio? Like, it is the very first question that you get asked when you're gonna produce a new song is the producer says, what do you want it to sound like? Send me some references. And you send them a bunch of songs that you have that the song should sound like. And then they build it based off of that. And I'm sure that's exactly, like, that's kind of what they talked about with the Van Morrison thing. Is it was like they had songs and ideas of things that they wanted to, sound like, and it just so happened to be the exact sound that, Let's Get It On was also imitating. You know what I mean? But think about what that would have, like, done. I don't think you would have been able to do that. Like, you would have had to be so careful about having a producer say, what do you want this song to sound like? Yeah, very thrilled Ed won. Each lawyer and judge can remove individuals. They also can remove groups of people if they argue it. Oh. Have you guys been watching that jury duty show? Is my lens, like, blurry? You had a long talk about it tonight before your show? Very intimate. Ooh, it's almost Pride Month. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, that jury duty show. There's that show on, I think it's on Freevee, and it's called Jury Duty. And it's one guy isn't an actor, he actually thinks that he's in jury duty, and everybody else is just, like, really good at improv. Like, kind of unknown actor. One is James Marsden, and then the rest are just, like, I recognized one guy from Sex Lives of College Girls. But otherwise everybody else is just like, kind of up and coming actors, I suppose, and are really good at improv. And they all are acting like they are in jury duty around this one guy. It's a very funny show. It's very, it's almost Office-esque. Iocane powder, how are you, my friend? I forgot that I brought one of these down. I started watching it with my mom. We haven't finished it. Yeah, Truman Show vibes. Definitely is. Freebie.
You are now the jury in the matter of Hillgrove versus Morris.
When they say jury of your peers, I think that's accurate. I mean, how long does this normally take? Have you done this before?
I'm a recognizable public figure.
Respectfully, I don't recognize you.
Juror number 54.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm gonna be upset if I don't get on the jury. Me? Ready, guys? Here we go.
All right, so this is what happened. Allegedly, we got defecation. There's a lady named Jacquees. I'm in it. I'm in it.
Try to keep it.
How does he not recognize the dude who played Cyclops in multiple X-Men movies? There's actually, we should play that scene because it's really funny.
What do people usually say when they're
He doesn't recognize him right away, and then they tell him to go in and be like, hey, brag about, like, James Marsden is playing himself.
I'm racist.
Sir, please have a seat.
I don't know why I said that.
Eliminate that for the next time.
Totally. Yeah, it's a stupid idea.
The jury duty.
I'll tell you after.
Sorry for the paparazzi.
This is a problem.
You're sequestered.
I googled it. It's isolated,
Isolated.
separated. Todd is a very interesting individual. He showed up wearing chair pants.
Yeah, he doesn't hide that he's a celebrity, yeah.
Christ.
But there's a whole scene that's very funny in the show.
Hi, guys.
No!
Sorry. Jump scare.
This is the most unorthodox trial that I've presided over.
Oh my God!
I try not to judge a book too much by its cover, but
Call your next witness.
It's true that you were once arrested for masturbating in a movie theater.
Yes, that's true. What was the movie? Pacific
Maxwell.
Rim Uprising.
it's not sexy.
I saw that. There was zero arousal for me.
This literally feels like reality TV.
Ah.
LOL. It's a funny
I'm
show.
not an actor, so I don't know what it takes.
Yeah, who knows?
Here, jury duty, James Marsden, Sonic. Yeah, right? Okay, show me the scene where...
I was looking at his socks over here. It looked like it said Sonic.
Okay, where's the scene where he goes, oh yeah, I remember you thing. James Marsden, what's up, Rush? A long time ago, they did a similar thing with a version of Big Brother, where only one guy wasn't in on it. Can't remember what it was called. I really liked it. Ooh, that sounds really good. Where is it?
I was looking at his socks over here. It looked like it said Sonic, and I'm in that movie Sonic.
Oh shit, you're in the movie Sonic? Yeah. That's the one with the new one with Jim Carrey, right? Yeah. I heard that was not a good movie. Is it funny or is it supposed to be action?
It's like action and funny, like, you know, road trip buddy movie. It was like he and I, and then Jim Carrey plays the.
Are you like a main woman?
Yeah.
Oh. Apparently he's in the new Sonic movie too. How's it going, man? Damn it, James, dude. Oh, man. I owe you an apology, man. I humble myself before you. I watched Sonic last night, dude. You did last night.
Hey, 54. I don't mind you talking, but you should know. Thanks for why we get everybody check in. Appreciate that.
That was hilarious. You didn't tell me that Ben Schwartz was the voice of Sonic.
Oh yeah, I kind kind of forget about him sometimes. I was looking at his socks over here. It looked like it said Sonic, and I'm in that movie Sonic.
Oh shit, you're in the movie Sonic?
It was funny. It's a good show. Good
The
show.
new one with Jim.
It also says Prime Video. Does that mean that we can watch it as a watch party? Hold on, where's watch parties? Is that this one? How do I start a watch party together? Start watch party. It says watch free with ads? Oh my gosh, chat, do we want to watch the first one? Let's see if we can watch it. We might be able to watch it through, We can't watch it as a watch party. RIP. R.I.P. It's on, I guess it's on Prime though. It's also on Freebie. It's called Jury Duty. Very funny. I haven't finished it. I'm like, I don't know, but like maybe halfway through it. Me and Carly are also, I'm almost done with Breaking Bad. If you ruin Breaking Bad, I will not stream for a month. No, I will stream. I'm gonna be I will cry if any of you spoil Breaking Bad for me. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. We're almost done. We're on the last season. And we're watching Breaking Bad. We're watching, what's the other one? Oh, we started watching this show called Undercover Underage, which follows Sosa. Okay, new show. Y'all tell me what's your favorite. Better Call Saul. We literally started watching Breaking Bad because Carly wanted to watch Better Call Saul. So
today we're doing
what is this? Okay, Undercover Underage. This one is on Discovery Plus. I think so. They have, I guess, a full video on YouTube. I don't want to, do I want to? This is Undercover Underage. Trigger warning, like, what is it? Trigger warning. It's about, like, pedophilia. So, is this Chris Hansen? No, it's Sosa, which is a place. I hope they explain it. Yeah. Okay.
I've known a boyfriend before.
I don't mind that.
Sex abuse online is a growing concern. Our goal is
the season that I'm watching, they don't have these other girls. It's just her.
Right now, we're in Canadian County, Oklahoma, working with the sheriff's office because we are about to launch a decoy sprint. That's when we put decoys online, these fake teenage profiles, in order to find what we call ACMs, adults contacting minors, whose goal is to abuse children and teenagers.
You're a sweet girl, but you know, I'm not that sweet.
If we can keep him on the hook, there's a chance that we can gather.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Canadian County, Oklahoma.
Tell him he's driving. He's about to leave right now.
This show is pretty good.
Oh my god, okay.
This is so scares me.
We've been watching.
Oh my god, that's him.
He has been sexually abusing
season
his
1
stepdaughter for 4 years.
He's the true
cheesy,
predator.
but like
no telling how many
also
victims are out there.
You know, once I get into the video
into
call,
it,
and you know,
like
I start
it's
talking like Abby,
it's like good
and he's
cheesy
calling me
TV.
Abby, and you know,
depressing, very depressing. But the reason that it's not as depressing is because the people that they get from this, they work with police, but because they're not police, I think that's why they can like get people. Here's how I saw. Okay, I'm not gonna talk over this anymore. I need to get you better at pausing. So, because they're not police, they can, I think they can, like, not bait people, but they can do this, where they can, like, act like they're underage, and they can get people to, you know, say things, whatever it is, and, catch people, and then they turn everything over to the police, and then a lot of the times, this gets the person either already under investigation. If they already are under investigation, it like quadruples their sentence, or it actually has like gotten people arrested and things like that because of the investigations that are associated with it. So even though it's really depressing, it's also like kind of has that actual conclusion to like a lot of the stories that they tell, because they show like the news clips of the people getting caught. I want to watch another video after this.
45 caliber handgun with 3 magazines. But he was armed to the hilt.
There was
She told you she was how old?
12. Twice out of town, I was just having super fun.
This must be the next
committing
season.
These crimes, traumatizing children.
Well, your husband showed up tonight to pick up a 12-year-old girl that he's been communicating with on social media apps.
Dang, this must be season 2 because I haven't seen any of it.
Come hell or high water, we have to get him. Let me out, you wheel around.
I think it's him.
Show me your hands, who down?
You're not filming this, right? You're not recording us.
Yeah.
Undercover, Underage. All new season. Monday, May 1st at 9.
It is. Okay, so this is the thing that I want to see, what's it called? It's like, there was a video that I watched the other day about this person, and they were caught. What the heck? Am I gonna have to go through my history to find it? I've had to watch it a few times now. Not a few times. Like, I've shown people it because it was so interesting. So I've had to go back and find it. This one.
I have never seen a more despicable set of facts as I've seen in this case.
These were the remarks of the judge who presided over the case of Jalen Fleer, a San Diego County Sheriff's deputy. The 27-year-old looked clean as a whistle in his day-to-day routine, but a private investigation caught up to him, leading to an interrogation that led to a search, which then led to a reveal of over 20 felony charges. In this video, we'll take you through the interrogation that finally put this monster behind bars. Special thanks to 5-0 Patrol for sure.
So this guy was, like, it says it was like in association with Sosa was how they had all of this stuff.
During the original interrogation clip. Jalen Fleer was a San Diego County Sheriff's deputy who once starred for Santana High School in baseball and football. He is married and was expecting a baby at the
this
time,
is
but
from
instead came the San Diego County Crime Stoppers
the villains.
who received tips regarding the sheriff's quote-unquote lewd behavior.
Yeah, right there.
He is married and was expecting a baby at the time, but instead came the San Diego County Crime Stoppers who received tips regarding the sheriff's quote-unquote lewd behavior. Their 2-month-long investigation led to a lot of evidence that needed answers. This is how the interrogation went down.
The story with us, of course, in regards to the report that we're investigating. Okay. You're not under arrest and you are not being detained. Okay. Do you understand?
Yeah. Because the interrogator is acting upon tips from a non-profit organization, she has to set the disclaimer that this interrogation is voluntary and that he can leave whenever he wants to. He can even choose to not answer any important questions and can request a lawyer anytime he wants. But the interrogator has such a simple and open communication with Jalen that he looks at this interrogation like a conversation. Later on, he starts to open up about himself.
Football, baseball, went to Grossmont College for a little bit, played baseball there. And I got a job here. Worked at Dick's Sporting Goods before this, so this is my second job. Started working with this department for coming up on 5 years now.
So baseball seemed pretty important to you back in high school? What position?
Pitcher.
Cool. How's your arm holding up?
I mean, soreness every once in a while, but I haven't thrown it for a while. So.
Yeah, no, it still kills me. I played softball.
Okay, nice.
So I was, third, short, center, and pitcher.
You're in San Diego?
Yeah, down Hilltop, Indian Valley. And have you always worked corrections?
Yeah, I attempted to go out to the patrol, went to the academy. Things didn't work out there, so I came back here.
You'd be so good at this. People tell you
It's
everything.
good. I mean, camaraderie and stuff like that. So.
Okay. Married? How many kids?
Oh yeah, married. Recently got married this last year in September.
Okay.
We have a kid due on the way in August.
Oh, okay.
Boy.
Very nice. Unfortunately.
That's why they transferred you, because people talk to you so well.
Oh, looking forward. I thought you said
He's like, he talks about his stuff, whatever. Yeah. They talk for a long time.
Could lead to a.
And then the 7 drag once you're here. So at least
we don't really care about his.
Right?
This entire
background.
discussion is important because it will create a pattern of events that could lead to a bigger crime. First, she establishes the background. And now she moves on to the place where the crime happened, social media.
So, how about social media? Are you active on social media at all?
Facebook and Instagram. Had Snapchat back in the day, got rid of that with my wife. We got caught in the academy.
Yeah, you're now complex HR manager for all our hotel properties. Yo, that's fucking dope, Rashido.
Okay. So you're communicating with another recruit?
I was back in. I stopped. Everything got cut off. Got rid of. I mean, I didn't delete the Snapchat. I just deleted the app. So.
Okay.
What'd you do, Jalen?
2 years and a half now.
Okay. So on Facebook, just because I like to jot down everybody's social media when I can, what's your Facebook login? Like your username?
Mm-hmm.
I think just under Jalen Fleer.
It's your name?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then you said Instagram?
Instagram, yeah.
Okay. What's your Instagram username?
I think.
And then you said you got rid of Snapchat, but when you did have it, what was it?
Just Jalen Fleer.
The best part about this is that he's a cop. Like, he should know. He should know that he needs to get a lawyer. Like, don't talk to anybody without a lawyer. Like, ever, for any reason. So the fact that he's just like, yeah, like, just get a lawyer. Like, it doesn't matter if you're in trouble or not. If you're talking to the police, just get a lawyer, especially if you are doing something like this. Like, what?
So the one that you had there, has that account since been deleted or just deactivated?
Just delete the app. I think it's still there.
Okay. And I know when it comes to Facebook, you
they
connect
have
it to an
they have ego trips. Yeah.
Do you know what email address is connected to it?
I mean, obviously too, because he's a cop, he really thinks he's invincible.
And then your Instagram account, what same email?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. And I know sometimes with Snapchat, they'll have you either sign up with a phone number or an email.
Yeah.
I believe it's my phone.
Jalen's social accounts with the anonymous tips so that a connection can be verified. By now, Jalen is too open with his social accounts, and it took him this long to ask the obvious question.
I don't know, do you have any questions for me before we kind of...
I will ask what this is about?
Yeah, so we're looking into some allegations that were made. We're kind of, it started with a Crime Stopper report, so we're just kind of going from there. We did receive a picture that, you know, when we looked into it, it looks similar to you, so I don't know if you can take a look at the picture and just tell me if you've seen this picture before. Oh, I have like 15 million things.
He's just now, right? What it's asking, right?
Yeah, that's definitely me. I went to Grossmont.
Okay, so this picture right here, how old were you when it was taken?
I don't know, 20.
20? Have you ever used this picture on any social media site?
I think it was Snapchat back in the day, yeah.
Okay.
Give this right. She's doing so good.
Yeah, probably my wife, to be honest. I mean, obviously I talked to other girls back in the day too, but I can't remember.
Okay. If you had to guesstimate how many times you may have shared the photo, how many times?
That one, maybe just a couple times. minus 135.
Maxwell.
So definitely to your wife.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've used that photo for your wife, and you were about 20 years old in the photo. You did share it on Snapchat, and then maybe some other girls you were talking to?
I mean, yeah, this was a long time ago, so I don't really remember who it was.
Okay. Have you ever posted it as like your profile photo, or
No, that one.
ever posted on Instagram? Oh, I forgot to ask you, are your accounts, is your Instagram and your Facebook, are they private to add somebody?
Yeah, I believe I had to, yeah.
You can't just
request a friend.
Yeah, you can't just be anyone. So that one's at least a little bit better, where it's like you have to actively search for somebody, right? You in the photo. And is that a Grossmont? Is that Grossmont?
Yeah, it's
emblem?
Grossmont.
Okay, cool.
This picture here was the first piece of evidence. The interrogator wanted to know how the quote-unquote anonymous tip could get a hold of a selfie like that. You can't download pictures of each other on Snapchat unless you actually send them. And it was never uploaded on Facebook and Instagram, so this means that he intentionally sent this picture to someone who is, according to the interrogator, a quote-unquote young female on Snapchat. Based on Jalen's facial expressions, you can tell that he's now realizing where this is going.
Your schedule. I know that you work every 7 days on and 7 days off. What is your wife's schedule?
She's
Directly to jail, yeah.
Day shift, so typical 9 to 5.
Incredibly
Okay, so she was 9
defensive.
to 5 and you work like.
You can also see that he got defensive as soon as he asked, "What is this about?" And he realized, like, "Oh shit, this is for like somebody's like I got caught." You know what I mean? Like as soon as he figured that out, that's when he went to this defensive like body language immediately. Also, the fact that they work 7 days on and 7 days off, as I was like watching this, that was in the back of my head the whole time, and all I couldn't decide if that's good or not. Like that would suck to work 7 days in a row, and it's like 15 hours or some shit like that, like 12 hours, like for not uncommon for public safety rules, stuff like that. Like it was like long shifts that they were talking about. Here, let's listen.
Based on.
What is your wife's schedule?
She's every Friday, Saturday off. Day shift, so typical 9 to.
Captivist, what's up, friend? Yeah, I was talking about how I'm watching a show called Undercover Underage, and it follows this place called Sosa, and they, I think, are the informants that got him arrested. I'm pretty sure it is, because I think it said Sosa at the end of it or something like that. I remember it. Worked in hospitals for almost 20 years, and that wasn't out of the norm. I see, but is that I can't tell if that's a good or a bad thing. I guess you could take, like, week-long vacations all the time. Aw, Captivist. I appreciate you, friend. It's not a good thing? Do you just, like, spend most of the rest of, like, the next week off just recovering?
9 to 5.
Okay, so she works 9 to 5 and you work, like, the complete opposite schedule.
Depends. Every 3 months we rotate days and nights.
Okay. And how long have you been on nights now?
Nights now, probably a little over a month now. A month and a half. Can I ask, is this something I should have lawyers on?
So right now, and I'll go over the Bahila with you, we're investigating allegations that were made that you were communicating with a younger female on Snapchat, and potentially some material might have been shared.
Okay.
Some photos, some images, stuff like that. So we, of course, want to be able to hear what happened from your side, if that in fact did occur, or if it didn't occur, we want to obviously determine that.
The interrogator now learns his schedule, which will help her fit the pattern of the investigation. He once again jumps in to ask if this is something that he should have his lawyers on. Once again, the interrogator's response puts him at ease.
Your man talked for 2 hours and was like, I'd like an lawyer now, right? He talked for so long.
He's not being treated as a criminal, and they're only investigating allegations. The first time she mentioned texting the quote-unquote young female on Snapchat, he didn't respond much. But this time, he gave an answer that led to the revelation of his Tinder profile.
And from your side, if that in fact did occur, or if it didn't occur, we want to obviously
Everyone that I
determine
talked to, I mean,
right?
was about my age, I remember.
Okay. So who have you talked to?
My wife. I mean, this was back then when I had Tinder.
He describes that the only use of Tinder was when he met an ex-girlfriend. They dated for 3 years, and then he got married to his wife, who he had known since preschool. Now, in case you're...
I love the audit, good subjective info from someone who isn't a legal expert or lawyer, but still pertinent. I've never heard of them before. This is the Gavel or the Villains. This is the Villains.
Wondering why we haven't displayed the second picture? It's because it's a nude picture. He recalls that the only person who had access to this picture was his ex's Tinder account and his current wife. His wife is loyal enough to not leak it, and even though he had a bad breakup, his ex would not leak that picture. You can tell he's denying to share the real source of this picture because deep down he's well aware of who he sent it to.
So, I mean, I met girls on Tinder and stuff.
Wait, lawyer YouTube drama? Wait, is there lawyer YouTube drama? I love Emily D. Baker. That's my favorite lawyer YouTuber.
Back in the day. And yes, some save stuff, but I don't know who would save a picture like that. A nude, maybe, yeah, would save. Not that one.
And there's nothing wrong with this photo, right? It's just
No,
you.
I agree. I don't know how it would get in the hands of a younger person.
There were also some conversations that were exchanged between you and this person.
Me? Okay. I didn't talk to anybody younger, though.
Not on Snapchat?
No.
Not recently?
Not recently, no.
He not only continues to deny sending this picture, but also sending this picture to a younger person, quote-unquote, recently.
I know
The
that
word
lip lick, though.
recently implies that he may have sent it to someone a long while back who he's not trying to
What's
disclose.
up, Rush?
Now, you said all of your social media accounts are private, right?
Yeah.
And I know you're a law enforcement officer, so I know that you've also taken the time to make your plates confidential.
I mean, back in the day, I don't think my current ones are, though.
I mean, obviously, I ran your plates. So you're still driving the Ford Fusion?
Yeah.
And is it black or gray?
It's gray.
Okay. And you got tinted windows on it still?
Yeah.
And so, you know, when it comes to the photo, I really want to understand why this person would be in possession of the photo. But the only one who could really help me with that is you.
Yeah. No, I can't tell you that. I don't know.
Okay. Well, along with the photo came
very
some
specific
additional information
questions,
about your
right?
personal life.
Okay.
And based on some of the information you shared with me today, it seems to add up.
Okay.
So is there any reason why?
Right, Iacane?
See, they're you and share your information.
Sounds like it'd be someone that knows me then, obviously. I don't know who. I don't have any enemies that would be doing something like that.
Look at his face. He's cowering. Like he knows. Can I zoom in? I can't zoom in. I want to zoom so bad. He knows. Are you he knows. Like,
yeah. No, I can't tell you that.
He looks like he's about to cry.
Well, along with the photo came some additional information about your personal life.
Okay.
And based on some of the information you shared with me today, it seems to add up.
Okay.
So is there any reason why the person would say they're you and share your information?
Sounds like it'd be someone that knows me then, obviously. I don't know who.
He was.
That would be doing something like that.
He looks like he's about to cry.
Can I ask what information was shared? What they know?
We know that you're a baseball player.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people know that.
Yeah. So that information was kind of shared.
Okay.
Your work schedule.
It's been 5 years now I've worked here.
Specifically the transition to 7 days on, 7 days off.
Really?
Oof. Oof.
Like that recently. I couldn't tell you who that would be.
So let's take it back a little bit.
The reason why the interrogator used the word recently
right.
is because the sender knew his current work schedule, something that was enforced just a few months before this interrogation. Now the information's not adding up, and it's clearly implicating Jalen. Now we have a username, J178211. 17 is the college jersey number, 82 was the high school jersey number, and 2011 was the graduation year. Now he claims to have, quote-unquote, never heard of this account, but it suggests that this account sent the nude
Call a
pictures.
cab, call a cab,
Things
and
are
then
not
I
looking
call
good
a
for him.
cab.
Shared any images of your penis with anyone?
Yeah.
Huh?
And how many times would you say you've done that?
A lot.
Can you kind of explain that a little bit more?
Wait, listen to listen to her a lot. Like she
Count sent the nude pictures. Things are not looking good for him.
Shared any images of your penis with anyone?
Yeah.
And how many times would you say you've done that?
A lot.
Can you shared any images of your penis with anyone?
Yeah.
And how many times would you say you've done that?
A lot.
Can you
a lot.
kind of explain that a little bit more to me?
I mean, my wife, my ex-girlfriend, back in the day, Tinder and stuff, yeah. I mean, I'm sure you know how Tinder is. High school. Even, junior high.
Did you ever share any videos of you having sex with anyone?
With anyone? No. I've always had personal videos of me and my wife. That was it. And my ex actually had one, but...
What does your ex look like?
She's blonde.
She's blonde? Okay. So you've never shared any videos?
No, I have not, no.
Just still shots?
Yeah.
So, when it comes to the Crime Stopper that we're investigating and the Snapchat account, and of course your phone number and everything in connection with it, and some of the combinations of numbers and everything there, you can understand why obviously we have a growing concern. And of course your picture's attached to it, right? Which is even more like either someone's...
Can I ask what, you said you got nude ones too?
There were images that were shared, yes, that...
Can I ask, I'm sure you got them here, can I ask to see what they are?
You want to see the picture?
Yeah, so I can get an idea.
Did I ever even not do? Yeah. So, I don't actually have a clear shot of one. Yeah, so I did not...
Okay, I understand.
Print.
LOL, I didn't print off a picture of your penis, sir. I skipped that photo. I figured that you would know, based off of all of the other ones, which one you sent. My weenie is like everywhere. I share it a lot. You probably have a copy of it type of... Yeah. Right? Could even imagine if she... Like... Oh, you don't have it? Let me send one to you. What's your number? And he's like, yeah, I got one right here. You want it? Yeah, don't worry. Don't worry. I got one. It's a lot. I send them all the time. Wait, you have one? I sent you one last week. In his drafts.
It's out those
I went to
pictures.
a lawyer because this is I'm uncomfortable with this. This is weird. So
Of course, like, you definitely have the ability to do that, and of course, you know, this is completely voluntary. And so,
I just don't want to get caught up on something. I'm working this career. I don't want to get caught up on something.
I fully understand. Yeah. So, you can, yes, 100% elect not to speak with us. You are not under arrest at this time.
Yeah, I understand.
Obviously, given the fact that we're here and the fact that we're speaking to you, I know that your bosses are going to want to speak with you afterwards. Yeah.
In this part, the interrogator has confirmed some details which are vital to the investigation. It was only after the discussion of the nudes that he finally decided not to share further. But another interrogator in the room, who was just observing, entered to ask 3 questions of her own.
I have a couple of questions that you don't want to answer, or can I ask you the questions? Because you can choose to answer or not answer. So if I ask you a question and you're like, I don't want to answer that, you can tell me that. One of my questions was, I think I missed it, but when was the last time that you had Snapchat? Because I know you said you deleted it, but I didn't hear when you deleted it.
I just deleted the app. I deleted that when I was in the academy.
In the academy. When did you go to the academy?
It's like a little over a year ago.
A year ago, so in 2019?
Yeah, right at the beginning of 2019, January.
Okay, and then what years did you go to college at Grossmont?
2011 to about 2013.
What's up, Dead Signal?
And then I just want to make sure that we all understand each other. When my partner says a younger female, you understand that we mean someone under the age of 18?
Yeah, that's obviously why you're here.
You understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any siblings?
I have a younger sister, yeah. She's 19 right now. 20, sorry.
Oh, okay. And then my last question was, she was asking about the house and the decorations of your house. In any of your rooms in your house, do you have that new look where they have like the barn door, outer rail type?
A barn door?
Like a country, I don't
You
know
mean
what
a
you call it. I see it
barn,
a lot
barn doors?
on like those DIY
barn door.
shows.
Yes.
Do you have those in
I
your
do have
house?
one,
Okay.
Here's what the 3 questions were confirming. Firstly, he deleted the app, not the account, so chances are that he could reinstall, use, and later delete it to look clean to his wife. After all, their schedules don't match, so he might reinstall it when she's not around. Secondly, the college years were confirmed just to set a timeline of activities. And the third question was just a clarification in case he later ends up denying what they meant. After these 3 questions, he chose to have a lawyer present and denied answering any more questions. By law, he was free to leave, but that was after he turned over everything to Johnny Law.
With the next step, however, I'm going to go ahead and pull some documents here for you. So there are a few steps that we're going to be taking after this. Again, you are not being detained by us or anything, but we are acting on behalf of the court moving forward. Okay. So I will give you a chance to read through this. This is a search warrant that was granted this afternoon by a judge. The warrant does allow us to grab some DNA swabs from you, as well as any mobile devices that might be in your possession or potentially in your locker. Do you have your personal phone with you here?
I do have none.
Okay. Yeah. Is it inside your locker?
It's on my person right now.
Okay. So we'll, if you want to go ahead and hand it to us, we definitely don't need to go in and grab it from
knows.
you. But
you can watch that like
that we take it from you.
Watch this jaw clench when she gives him this.
Court moving forward. Okay. So I will give you a chance to read through this. This is a search warrant that was granted this afternoon by a judge. The warrant does allow us to grab some DNA swabs from you, as well as any mobile devices that might be in your possession or potentially in your locker. Do you have your personal phone with you here?
I do have none.
Okay. Is it inside your locker?
It's on my person right now.
Okay. So we'll.
He's
if
a
you
pedo.
want to go ahead and hand it to us, we definitely don't
this
need
is,
to go in
he has
and grab
like,
it from you.
it's like 20-some counts.
But the search warrant does require that we take it from you. Okay.
Like major pedo.
Additionally,
like bad, like
it does allow us
gross.
to have access to your vehicle.
Yeah.
Is your vehicle parked here?
It's parked a few blocks away.
And he's a cop.
Exactly where you
yeah, disgusting.
Over across from Cap's Pizza over there.
Cap's Pizza? Yeah. And is it like in a parking
It's in a parking lot.
Okay. Is it like one of those paid parking lots?
Yeah.
Okay. So Cap's Pizza. I'll put a note on that. So the warrant does allow for us to also process your vehicle.
You guys are taking my vehicle?
No, we're going to process it.
Never,
After that, we will also have access to your locker. Are your vehicle keys inside your locker?
My vehicle keys are in my vehicle right now.
They're in your vehicle?
Yeah.
So you have a code?
I have a code.
Okay. Would you mind sharing that code with us?
Am I allowed a lawyer to say no to that?
Well, the warrant allows for us to have access to your vehicle.
Okay. Yeah, so you break it. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'll give it up to you.
Okay. I'll jot it down. Thank you.
I don't even know the number. I know the
Now he's realized that there's no turning back, as the so-called anonymous tips turned into an investigation and finally turned into a search warrant for everything he owns.
Oh,
literally
no, ads?
everything.
Oh, ads! Oh no, ads! A paid paradise put on a parking lot. Oh, a paid paradise put on a parking lot. Okay.
The officer was later put on desk duty for a couple of weeks until the investigation went its course. His DNA swabs and everything were collected, and then in came the shocking revelations. In the court case of People versus Fleer, there were 4 victims between the ages of 12 and 14, but prosecutors allege Fleer to have contacted more than 40 who described themselves as minors. The prosecutors read graphic letters of his encounters in the court. He even engaged in sex acts with a 14-year-old girl and contacted numerous other underage girls over social media with the aim of meeting up for sex. Count 6 said on or about April 8th that Fleer unlawfully participated in an act of oral copulation with a person under the age of 16. And Counts 7 and 8 said Fleer lewdly committed a lascivious act upon the body of a child 14 or 15 years of age. Jalen Fleer pled guilty to 20 felony and misdemeanor charges and was sentenced to 10 to 12 years in state prison with no probation. And he will have to register as a sex offender for the rest of his life.
Lascivious.
What started as an investigation in 2021 led to the arrest of this madman in 2021. At the same time, we have to commend the efforts by the interrogator here, who was able to take out so much of the information from him voluntarily.
Interrogator did so good.
But even if he had refused to talk, the search warrant had already come through, so there was no point in hiding anything. However, considering that he was charged with 20 sex offenses, do you think that a 10 to 12-year sentence was enough?
Oh, shit.
Well, make sure
Dead
to tell us in the
Signal!
comment section below.
Thank
And
you
as
so
always,
much for the tier 1
thanks for
sub,
watching.
my friend. So, no, I don't want this to play. I'm pretty sure
I have never
that
seen
was
a more
with
despicable set
had
of
like
facts
Sosa,
as
right?
I've seen in this case.
These were the remarks of the judge who presided over the case of Jalen Fleer, a San Diego County Sheriff's deputy. The 27-year-old looked...
Let me find out. Yeah, gonna be real rough for him. A Bay Paradise put on a parking lot. A Bay Paradise get put on a parking lot. I'm pretty sure, I want to say that I saw it somewhere, that he had something to do with it. It says somewhere in this video, something about Sosa being a part of it, or at the very end of it or something. I don't know. What do you miss? You missed that he got charged on 20 counts and is going to be in jail for 15 years only? What the fuck? So glad I'm not the only one who does that. A baby night get put on a bargain line. Dead Signal, thank you so much for the 2-month resub. Yeah, right? Like, it's freaking crazy. Here, let's find cases that Sosa... Pave paradise, you put on the parking lot. Pave paradise, but no one wanna. Pave paradise, you put on a parking lot. I came powder. Oh my goodness gracious, thank you for the 2-month resub. Thank you, my friend. How are you? See your red face. I wanna watch a thing about which ones they took down. My voice is amazing. Thank you. Oh my gosh, Pete on Earth, how are you, my friend? What is up? How are you doing? Thank you so much for the raid. Hello, Pete. Oh, what's the drama? So there's drama between Legal Eagle. Legal Eagle is accused of plagiarism by Illuminati. Okay, that's just like the hypocrisy of Illuminati. Is that what's happening? What's the... That happened 12 days ago already? Oh my gosh, there's so much drama happening. Always on the internet. You can always find it. What is the whole thing? Who is Illuminati? I don't really get it. Sometimes I get it and sometimes I don't. That's just 42 minutes? YouTube videos are so long. Do I have anything? I'm usually into a good, like, a good, what's it called? Vertasium video. Learn me some science. I want to learn some science. I love Vertasium. They are great. I always learn so much when I watch their stuff. Don't remember why I loved her. Everything that I once felt sometimes comes back to linger. Yeah, Automod is in a mood. The Illuminati was rumored to be a secret group of people from different countries that know and keep secret stuff from the world because they can't handle it, but people use it for memes and also for... No, so, okay, that's... Yes, you're right. Illuminati, though, is a YouTube channel. And it's, like, they're a, like, long-form content YouTube channel. And I guess there's drama. My favorite thing about his vids is seeing his New Zealand accent slowly disappear over time. Watch some of his super old ones, though. From who? Envy. Yeah, that makes more sense, right? Vertasium? Oh! Old videos. He used to have an accent? Really? Ooh, I tried card counting online. Okay, have y'all ever watched these videos? I want to watch this one. Let's watch it together.
Oh, that's so awful. I am losing money now. I'm logged out. Why has it done that? Making videos as a card counter, there is one question I get asked more than any other.
Super strong
Why don't you
Kiwi
shave
accent?
your beard? What if you shave your beard and dye your hair, lol? Have you considered ditching the beard? Maybe shave the beard and try a different accent? Why don't you shave your beard? Could you shave your beard to adjust the look? Why don't you just shave your beard? Why not shave the beard? Why not shave the beard and wear a fake one that you can take off and put back on depending on the situation? Okay,
so this is Steven Bridgers, right? That's his name. So he had a whole series where, Steven Bridges, where he learned how to count cards. and was like, I'm gonna go become like a card counter. I'm gonna actually do it. And then he did, and now he's been doing an ongoing series about it, and they're very, very interesting. When they first came out, I binged all of them.
Why
10
don't you
out of
shave your
10.
beard? Question I get is, can you count cards online? Well, in this video, I'm gonna give it a go.
I'm excited. Beat the odds. These are great videos.
Counting cards works by keeping track of the cards that have been played in blackjack, so you get an idea of the
Gamble
ratio of high cards
responsibly,
and low cards
friends.
left in the shoe. With the right skills, you can use this knowledge to gain an advantage over the casino. Betting big when the count is high, and betting small when the count is low. I've done this in casinos in the USA and Europe, but the drawbacks to this are pretty major. Flights and accommodation already make it expensive, and when they catch you, they don't exactly like it.
Never gamble. That's honestly...
And sometimes casinos will even make it tricky to cash out your chips.
I can't cash you out.
Why not?
It's our protocol.
But we live in the age of the internet, where online blackjack is very much a thing. So the question is it possible to count cards online
on the
while sat
internet?
at home
I don't.
just
I
chilling?
would say
From
no.
what I can tell, there are two types of online blackjack. You've got the live games, these are dealt by an actual dealer, and then you've also got the automatic games. The cards are fully digital, a little bit like if you're playing online poker. We can immediately rule out these digital games. The cards are going to be shuffled every round, which renders card counting totally useless. So we need to seek out the live shoe games. But before I give it a shot, there are three potential problems that I can see being an issue. The first one is being banned quickly. In proper casinos, it can sometimes take quite a while for surveillance to catch me counting cards. That's because surveillance is a really tough job and they have a lot to do. Yeah, they're trying to catch card counters, but they're also trying to catch cheats, people that are going to steal, dealers making mistakes, and then just other stuff like if people are having arguments or, I don't know, a fight breaks out. Point being, surveillance is a very tricky job because they're doing so many things, a card counter can go under the radar for quite a while. However, with online casinos, it really wouldn't surprise me if they have software that's detecting if people are counting, and if it catches a card counter, it bans them instantly. I don't know that they have software, but it would surprise me if they didn't. The second worry is not being paid out. It's very easy for them to make it very difficult for you to get your money out if they want to. And finally, and most importantly, poor quality blackjack games. Now, not all blackjack is created equally. Different rules such as whether you're allowed to double after splitting, whether you're allowed to double any two cards, or even if blackjack pays 3 to 2 or 6 to 5, all dramatically affect the house edge. Some games just aren't beatable no matter how good at counting you are. From what I've heard, the quality of online blackjack games is pretty awful. However, it could just be a case of having to shop around a bit to find a good game. So my first task is to check out a few games and pick one to play. It is so much worse than I expected. It's just so bad. The first annoyance is that you can't check the rules of a blackjack game before signing up to the website. So I've had to sign up to a few websites just to read the rules of the game. And the first thing that I noticed is that nearly every website that I checked had the exact same blackjack interface. I found out that there's a company called Evolution Gaming that provide the vast majority of online blackjack, at least in the UK. And across all of these different websites that offer this version of blackjack, the rules seem to be exactly the same for all of them. Weirdly enough, it doesn't seem that the rules get any better if you're playing high limit, which is very different to my experience of playing in physical casinos. I did find that there were a couple of other providers, but when I checked their rules, they seem to be exactly the same, which has led me to believe that across the board, all of the blackjack, at least in the UK, online, has almost exactly the same rules and exactly the same playing conditions. So let's take a look at what we're actually dealing with. Here's a typical 8-deck game that I'd expect to find in the US.
Yeah, listen
so
up,
kids.
This is very big. Yeah, listen up, kids. No gambling never goes far most times. This person, if you watch this series, you can watch him talk about losing. Like, he loses hundreds of thousands of dollars at any given time. I have I can't just, sometimes that's just how it works.
Double after splitting, you'd be able to double any 2 cards. Of course, blackjack would pay 3 to 2, and out of the 8 decks that they would deal, they'd deal about 6.5 decks before shuffling. How many cards that are dealt before a shuffle is really important to card counters. We want as many decks dealt as possible. So if you were a high rolling card counter with a 70k bankroll, betting around this, you could expect to make about $95 per hour, with a 0.72% risk of ruin, which is the chance of you going bankrupt and losing all your money. I will add that betting hundreds of dollars per hand does attract a lot of attention, so how long you'd get playing like this before being backed off is, who knows. The last thing I'd like to point out here is the N0. This is referring to the amount of hours that it would take for 84% of card counters to be break even or above. So you'd have to play this blackjack game for nearly 300 hours just to have an 84% chance of being up. So that is a fairly standard blackjack game. However, the blackjack games I found online are not at all this good. So first of all, we can say goodbye to doubling after splitting. You're also not allowed to split your hand more than once, which is a horrible rule. And most painfully of all, out of the 8 decks of cards that they shuffle up and deal, they only deal half of them before a shuffle. And this software isn't designed to show you conditions that bad, because essentially, if they're only dealing half the decks, you would never play this game. So the best I can do is show what would happen if you dealt 5.5 decks of cards, and you can see that that really knocks down the expected hourly rate, massively ups our risk of ruin, and puts our end zero at 1,500 hours. So they have a bunch of other rules that I couldn't input into this software, because this software isn't designed to sim games that are that bad. But one of the rules that springs to mind is that if the dealer has a 10 as their up card, they don't check to see if they have blackjack until everybody's played, and there's a bunch of other general things that make this worse. One of the things that I forgot to mention is that the rounds per hour, which is how fast the game is going, is way slower in online blackjack. 50 rounds per hour in an online blackjack game would be good. So we have to take this data with a massive pinch of salt, because in reality it's going to be much worse. I ran a few simulations to see what was likely to happen playing with those rules and that bet spread. This doesn't really tell me anything new, but it's handy to see as it really allows the data to sink in. Every time I press the button...
So the thing with counting cards, so when you are... So everything in gambling, like, it's ruled in a percentage towards, and most of the time the casino has some sort of advantage of some kind, like just a little bit of an advantage. You can see these like with slot machines, like in Las Vegas. You can go look at the statistics and it tells you the percentage that it is supposed to pay out. And so with blackjack, if you memorize blackjack, like people have gone through, have run computer simulations, and they know exactly what is the proper card to play, like what you are actually supposed to do. It is the exact way to play blackjack, like properly. And if you memorize that, your odds then go up to be like, that's where it gets to be that the casino has just like a tiny little bit of an advantage over you. And then if you learn to count cards, that essentially turns the advantage from being a tiny little bit of an advantage at the casino's end, it's a tiny little bit of an advantage at the player's end. And counting cards is, you're essentially just keeping track of the big cards in a deck to know when it is the most, when it is the most fortuitous moment to bet at large amounts to get large amounts of money back. That is the way I understand it. And so counting cards isn't illegal, because the way that I've had it explained in a lot of this stuff is it would be like telling a chess player that that they're thinking too hard, because it's not like you're writing anything down. It's not like you're taking a device and getting different information. Like, you're using information that is in front of you by just counting the cards that you see as they come up. So should we watch another video? He has a way that he explains it. Let's watch it, because it
generates a random possible scenario.
He explains it very well. Okay. 15 minutes. This one. Okay, this is it.
Card counting is a technique that you can use to win at blackjack. A proficient card counter or team can make hundreds or even thousands of dollars per hour playing blackjack. You might have heard of card counting from movies like 21 and assume that it was dying out due to facial recognition technology or something like that. Although casinos do try and stop card counters, I can tell you from personal experience that measures like facial recognition technology or kicking out card counters aren't nearly as effective as the casinos would like you to believe. Even in 2021, card counting is still very much alive. There are lots of videos on the internet explaining how to count cards, but most of them are greatly oversimplified and you're only left sort of understanding how card counting works. In this video, I'm going to give you a proper deep dive explaining exactly how card counting works, not holding anything back. But before I do, I want to quickly let you know about blackjackapprenticeship.com.
So
you might not be aware of the one element of the game that makes it beatable. The one thing that sets it apart from other gambling games that you can exploit to win money. Before I can explain that, let's quickly go over how blackjack is played. Blackjack is a game played by you alone against the dealer. These days, blackjack is normally played with a few decks of cards shuffled together, and rounds will be played until you're near the end of the shoe, where the cards will be reshuffled and you start again. The player is dealt 2 cards and the dealer is dealt 2 cards, only one of which you get to see at first. To win, you simply need to have a higher hand total than the dealer without it being higher than 21. Picture cards are worth 10 and aces are worth either 1 or 11, whichever gives you/the dealer the better hand. You act first, having the option to hit, requesting another card from the dealer, or to stand, if you're happy with the total that you have. You can hit as many times as you like, but be careful, because if you go over 21, you bust and you immediately lose the hand. After your turn, it's the dealer's turn to play. They aren't making any decisions themselves, they must keep hitting until they have a hand total of 17 or higher. You win the hand if your total is higher than the dealer's or the dealer has gone bust. They win the hand if their hand total is higher than yours or if you've gone bust. Simple. There are also a couple of special plays you can make. You can double, allowing you to double your bet and receive one final card, or if you have 2 cards the same value, you can split, adding another bet the same as your previous and turning your one hand into 2 hands. There's also blackjack. If you get a 10 value card and an ace, then you win not the usual 1-to-1 payout, but 3-to-2, giving you 1.5x your bet as profit. Nice. In some casinos, they will pay you 6-to-5 for blackjack, which is terrible. It's an awful thing that they do just to take more money from you. Don't play those games. Like all casino games, the house has an edge, aka an unfair advantage. In blackjack, it's that you have to go first. When you go first, you might go bust, and if you go bust, you lose the hand. It doesn't matter that the dealer might have gone bust themselves or had a bad hand. If you go bust, you've lost your money, that's it. The dealer going last gives them just enough of an advantage that over the course of your blackjack playing life, you're probably going to lose money. So how can you win? What's the flaw in this game? What makes blackjack beatable? Let's imagine a simple fictional gambling game. Here's a deck of cards. 26 cards are red, 26 cards are black, the deck is shuffled. You bet $100, and if the top card is black, you win $100. If it's red, you lose. It was black, you won. Nice one. Here's $100. Let's shuffle the deck again, same game. What are the odds that the top card is black, given that it was black the last time? It's still 50-50. Even if we played this game 100 times in a row, and each time the top card happened to be black, the odds of it being black in the next game are still exactly 50-50. That's because the deck doesn't have a memory. It doesn't care what the deck was before. Because it's been shuffled, fate has been reset. It's really hard to grasp this because it feels like, surely, if it's been black 100 times in a row, it's time for it to be red. If we did play this game 100 million times, it's very likely that by the end, about half the time the top card will have been black and about half the time the top card will have been red. But in the short term, each individual round is still independent from the previous, so it's still 50-50. As a side note, roulette wheels often have this little screen which show you the history of the roulette wheel. That's to encourage this flaw in human psychology. You get to see it's been black the past 10 times in a row to encourage you to make a wager, even though the history of the wheel makes no difference. Back to our little card game. Same game, but we're going to change one element. This time, after you've placed your bet and the top card is revealed, it's not shuffled back into the deck for the next round. We actually take it out and get rid of it. This changes everything. Because now, if there's a red card missing, there's more black cards left in the deck, which means there's a slightly higher chance that the top card next time will be black. If we keep playing and every round a card is removed, there might be a point later on where there's actually a lot of black cards left in the deck and barely any red ones, and there's a very high chance of the next card being black. And if you were able to keep a mental tally of how many black cards were left, there'd be times when it'd be super likely that a black card is next. Instead of betting $100, maybe you'd bet $1,000. And sure, you won't be right every single time, but you'll be right most of the time, and that is all it takes to make a lot of money playing this game. Unfortunately, no sane casino would offer this game, but that's okay because this is the exact principle we can use to win at blackjack. Blackjack normally has a few decks of cards shuffled together, and a card counter will keep a mental tally of what cards have been played, giving them a good indication of what cards are left. Similar to the red-black game, if there are a lot of high-value cards like 10s and aces left in the deck, then the player is actually more likely to win than the dealer. A card counter will bet more when they're more likely to win and bet a small amount when they're less likely to win. They won't win every time, but they'll win enough times to make a big profit. Blackjack has a memory. Before you can count, you must know how to play. Keeping track of what cards have been...
Does that make sense? So like they're just keeping track. Now they have these, he's gonna explain how you're supposed to properly play. Perfect playing of blackjack. That explains it. So this is how the actual part work, like actually counting cards works.
Step 2, the running count. There are different types of card counting system. In this video, we're focusing on the most popular, high-low. In high-low, each card in the deck is assigned a point score. 2 through 6 are worth +1, 7, 8, 9 are worth 0, so they're ignored, and 10s and aces are worth -1 point. All a card counter is doing is that whenever a card is played, they're keeping a running total of the point score. For example, let's go through a few cards. We start on 0, a 6 is worth +1, so now we're on 1, a 5 is worth +1, so now we're on 2, a picture is worth -1, so now we're back to 1, a 10 is worth -1, so now we're back on 0, a 7 is worth 0, so we ignore it, an ace is worth -1, so now we're on -1. A card counter counts every card that they see come out of the shoe. It doesn't matter if it's your card, the dealer's card, or the player next to you, every single card is counted. To make sure you don't forget the count, you can repeat it in your head again and again. I've actually had times when I've left the casino and I'm still repeating the count from the last game because this process becomes so automatic, sometimes it's hard to stop. If you're not repeating the count again and again in your head, you'll be surprised at how easy it is to forget the count completely. For speed and ease, a counter will often not start counting the cards until the second card for each hand is being dealt. That means if there's a +1 card and a -1 card on top of each other, you can just ignore that completely instead of going +1, -1 in your head. A quick tip, when you're in a negative count, instead of saying -1, -1, -1, it's much quicker if you just shorten that down to N1 for -1, or D1 for down 1, which is what I personally use, or M1 for -1. Shortening it down just makes it easier. A proficient counter has no trouble keeping the running count and playing basic strategy at the same time without making any mistakes. Step 3, true count conversion. Imagine you're going fishing. Let's say I've told you that there are 2 ponds you can fish in and 1 pond has 10 fish in it,
you're
without
lost.
making
Okay.
any mistakes. Step 3,
So
high-low,
this-
each card in the deck is assigned a point score. 2 through 6
This is
are
the
worth
part that
+1,
explains it,
7,
right?
8, 9 are worth 0, so they're ignored, and 10s and aces are worth -1 low. In high-low,
Oh,
each
oops,
card in the deck
sorry.
is assigned a point score.
Let
2
me
through
pa-
6
I wanna
are worth
pause at this so
+1,
you can tell.
7, 8, 9 are worth 0, so they're ignored, and 10s and aces are worth -1 point.
Okay, so you get dealt when you're playing blackjack, right? The dealer gives you 2 cards, or gives you 1 card, and then gives themselves 1 card, and then they give you a second card, and then they give themselves a second card, right? And they flip over their top card, and then you get to see your 2 cards. Okay? So you take, if you get a 6 and a 9 as your 2 cards, that would be 1 plus 0, so you would have a +1. And then if you get a face card, that would be a negative, so if you had a 9 and a queen, it would be -1, right? Simple math. So when the count is higher, I think is when you want to play. When the count is at when it's at a higher number, that's when you want to play. So they're talking about, they do this like running, or this like figuring out what the running, or not what the running count is, but like the count of the decks of cards. So that like really gets into it. If you really want to figure it out, you can. We don't, that part doesn't matter. You want to get like, yeah, higher chance of blackjack. You want more face cards in the deck. So yeah, you want a higher number, because if you have a higher number, that means that you've seen more positive numbers. And that means that there's more negatives that are in the deck, and negative numbers equal face cards, which means more likely to have a blackjack. So the next part that he explains is essentially how they attach a positive number to the amount, or how they attach the number that they get from these cards to the decks of cards that the dealer is using. Because if you have 3 or 4 different decks of cards that they use in the shoe for it, then the number that you're getting coincides with that amount of decks, so on and so forth. But this is essentially like the basic thing, is that you're keeping track of the face cards, so with the amount of face cards that are in the deck, so you can you know how many face cards are there, right? Right? So true count conversion, that's all that he's talking about. Cool, make tons of money, whatever. So that's like the baseline of it. Now we can finish watching this one, because he's going to try to count cards online, which now it makes sense kind of why he was talking about like the amount of decks that they're using. The more decks that you have, I think the better, because that means that they shuffle less, so you can keep like a longer play of it. Oh yeah, set game to just chatting. You're right. Did it work? Cool. All right. So now he's counting cards online. That's what this video is.
If these scenarios ended up in profit, ultimately it showed what we all know already, that this would be a terrible idea.
Fewer decks equals better. Yeah, fewer decks, but if you have fewer decks, that means that they shuffle more. So I think they want more decks because then they shuffle less. Because they put all the decks, they shuffle them all at one time, and then they put them in a big ol' like card shoe, I'm pretty sure. But that's what the conversion is. Let me give you, if y'all are interested, you can tell me if I'm wrong later if you want to rewatch this whole video. I haven't watched it in a whole time. But that's what like the next... that's what the next part of this video is it's explaining deck estimation and true count conversion and like how
So the next major step in card counting, which is true count conversion, or in fish pond terms, figuring out how likely you are to catch a fish. Let's say you're counting cards in a 6-deck game and you've got a running count of 12. You look over to the discard tray and you see that there are 2 decks in the tray. Well, it's a 6-deck game, so you know that there are 4 decks remaining. To figure out the true count, you simply divide the running count by the amount of decks remaining. So 12 divided by 4 is 3, so it's a true 3. Now I know a lot of you are like,
division, anything but division.
Don't worry, it's easy division, we actually round things. So if it's a running 15 and there are 4 decks remaining, it's still a true 3. Because it's not quite a true 4, we cut off the decimal figure. And honestly, on big counts, you can always take a second and secretly count it on your fingers underneath the table. Trust me, the division isn't difficult, and I'm someone that hates division. Step 4, make tons of money. Now you've got that true count, that magic number. What is it? What does it mean? How do you use it? Well, it's pretty simple. In most blackjack games, playing basic strategy at a true 1, you have the advantage. Hooray! And that advantage increases to a point by about 0.5% at every true count. And if you think that that advantage is small, it is. It is tiny, but that is all you need to make a lot of money from casinos. You simply have to bet big when you have the advantage. So I made some tweaks to try and come up with a bet spread on a more modest bankroll, 18k, still a lot of money. That would produce an hourly rate close-ish to minimum wage, while keeping the risk low. Even this was very ambitious, as I seriously doubted that any online casino would let me get close to £18,000 worth of deposits. Not to mention, it would take me around 929 hours to have an 84% chance of being up or break even. And that was with me hoping I'd play around 50 rounds per hour. Oh yeah, and this required me to not play any hand below a true 2. I've decided to play for 10 hours total. That's the goal. Whatever happens in those 10 hours, that's what we've got. I'm also going to bail on this video pretty hard if I lose more than £1,500, because I don't want to lose more than £1,500. I started off by depositing £720. After my bank declining the transaction multiple times, despite me authorising it, deposit unsuccessful. Why? Why? I ended up switching bank to a bank that apparently cares way less whether or not someone was fraudulently using my account to gamble.
Good night, Dead Signal. Thanks for hanging out, my friend.
Alright, we're gonna play. Finally. Finally. Blackjack. Just finding the right kind of game was confusing. We just want boring, regular blackjack. I believe it's classic speed. I eventually joined a game during the shuffle and back counted. At first I took a seat to reserve 2 spots, but after a while of not betting, I was kicked out of my seat. That was okay because I could still watch the table. Well, I could watch it until the game was paused due to inactivity. Luckily I could unpause it quickly and not miss any cards. The count eventually went to a true 2, but by then all the seats were full. So I just awkwardly had to watch the final round be dealt before the cut card. That's it! That first shoe took 18 minutes and there were 18 rounds dealt. The waiting 15 seconds for players to place their bet each time adds 4.5 minutes of dead time. That's not including the shuffle time, as at some tables we'd have to wait for the incredibly tediously slow shuffle to be done by the dealer. This right here is the problem with dealing just half of the decks and then shuffling. How much money they will be losing in this shuffle time because it just takes them so long. It's weird because a lot of the time these online games, they have a shoe already ready to shuffle, but I guess here, for some reason, they don't.
Let's go for some math. This is taking too long.
Come on, speed blackjack. The penetration, as we expected, sucked. And I even found that sometimes it was worse than that. Where's that cut card going? Ooh. Oh, she nearly... What? The speed games, unsurprisingly, were a bit quicker, and they cut down the wait between rounds to 8 seconds. Hooray! I eventually got a true 2, but it seemed like the game was against me, timing out due to inactivity as I was trying to place a bet. What? How'd you even... I'm here! I probably should have learned how the online version worked, as I was struggling to actually place the bets properly at first. It gives you way less time, I guess, when you're playing high limit. 2 6s. I will double that. Oh, awful. No! Come on, bust, please bust! Yay! Okay. Oh gosh, I've got to be so fast. Okay. I actually literally cannot get my bets in time. This is a really weird problem to have. Like if I was playing live blackjack, I would just hold my hand out and take my time and place my bets. But this speed version is moving faster, and the clicking of the chips is a little bit tricky. I can't imagine betting. So I'm not even betting my proper spread. I'm just betting some money in an advantage situation. I'll get the hang of this. I'll get the hang. A 5, worst card for the dealer. So fingers crossed we get a bust. And so far, oh, that's not what we want. That's not what we want. Sad time. Very sad. I tweaked my bet spread and switched to the £100 minimum tables. These were quieter, but it did not go well. No! I am losing money now. Oh, very sad. We're all very sad. I'm logged out? What? Why has it done that? Oh, that's so awful. No. Unpleasant. What? Yeah, I'm going to take a break. Well,
there's
so
no
far,
way
it isn't going well.
I feel like anything, if it's gambling
really
online, it's just immediately, it's going to be a scam.
Blackjack when you're betting £100 a hand. On the other hand, £440 is still £440. Let's put that in context. Yeah, it's more than a Nintendo Switch. I think I'd feel less bad if I was losing £2 playing a high quality blackjack game than I do losing 440 quid playing a really terrible game, because with this it just feels like I'm
It's you against the dealer, so people are generally helpful.
Day 2 started with me staring off into space, asking myself,
this
why
is
am I doing this? Before
online
to play.
is a different story.
Ready to play the game of blackjack. I realised you could view more than one table at the same time. Oh, cool. I can do this. I figured it would be useful to see when a new shoe is about to begin. If the count wasn't high, I could switch over to the new table. I also experimented a bit with trying to count 2 tables at the same time, although I quickly abandoned this as I wasn't confident that I wouldn't make any mistakes. Right, this is getting confusing. I played for over 3 hours, and in that time, I only played a few hands. Great. After all this, I got 1 round.
That was the one where Drake kept winning. Oh, Great. LOL.
And we end the round with a running 15.
That's fake. See, that's the stuff where I'm like, you don't think
happen when doing this video. There was one thing I never would have expected, and that's what happened on day 3. During the entire session, I didn't get 1 count that was high enough to justify me placing a bet. 4.5 hours. Nothing. It took me an embarrassingly long amount of time to realize why
somebody
this was
talking
happening.
about
The fewer the
counting
decks dealt
cards
before
in
the shuffle,
blackjack.
the more low cards that need to be dealt early on to gain an advantage. In other words, I didn't just need a high running count. I needed a really high running count really early on in the shoe to get an edge, and that wasn't going to happen very often. I couldn't judge how much of me not getting a high count was due to this, or maybe I'd just been unlucky. So even though I'd hit my 10-hour goal, I decided to give it 1 more try so that at least I could end with placing a bet. And would you believe, I played for 2 more hours and I didn't get a high enough count to place a bet. That is nearly 7 hours of staring at my laptop, watching these blackjack games, not playing any blackjack. Very sad. It was time to cut my losses, call it a day, and pretend that this whole thing never happened. But with that came one final challenge, actually getting my money out. Before we get to that, I want to share one more thing that I noticed that really highlights the shadiness of the online gambling world. Firstly, when you win a hand, they show you double the amount that you've actually won. If you bet £100 and you win, they say that you've won £200.
Backgammon? I don't know how backgammon works.
Very misleading. On the flip side, when you lose, they don't have text appear that says you've lost £100. Of course not. they just have a tiny little text at the bottom saying lose, so that they don't really draw any attention to it. Basically, they're making the wins feel bigger than they are, whilst just kind of ignoring the fact that you've been losing money. Now we get to cashing out. Here is the dodginess that is online gambling. I deposited £720 without any issues. There were no checks about my financial situation, whether I could afford to gamble the money, or where the money was coming from. I could lose all that money, and the casino would happily take it. In my case, I lost £385. But when it comes to withdrawing the money, that's when I needed to jump through hoops. I'm not saying that these requirements are bad. I'm sure there's good reasons for them, but it's the fact that you have to give this stuff over after you've gambled that's the problem. It reminds me of the times I've been playing in a real casino for hours and hours, and then I go to the cash desk to cash out, and then they say that they need to see my ID because they're not sure that I'm over the age of 21. Okay, so you're fine taking my money if I lose, but now I'm cashing out. Now you need to check that you've not been letting a minor play. So I downloaded a copy of my bank statement and uploaded it to the site. It was immediately rejected by their software for being the wrong person. And the reason it thought it was the wrong person is because on my bank statement, it said my name was Mr. S. Bridges, not Stephen Bridges. I contacted support and asked them to approve this, and after a few days, they emailed me back a generic copy-paste type email as if they hadn't even read what I'd initially said. So I went to the bank and got a statement with my full name on it. I uploaded that. I was told it was too blurry. It really wasn't. My passport photo was also apparently too blurry, despite the fact it's the same one that I've sent to border control for them to verify me, so it's definitely fine. So I took a new photo of the passport, and then the system told me that I'd modified the picture. So eventually, on a bit of a weird whim, I tried their video feature, and I held up my driver's license, and that seemed to work, despite the fact that that result was definitely way more blurry. But who cares? The point is, I was approved. So I finally had my proof of identity accepted, and I cashed out my money. For some reason, it never asked me for a bank card, so I didn't give it one.
I've got an absolutely wild last second update for you. They ended up sending me my withdrawal twice. I have no idea what they're playing at. What are they doing? And yes, I did send them an email letting them know, because I think it's fraud if I don't.
So to answer the question, can you count cards online? Well, technically, yes, kind of, but is it worth it? Absolutely not.
Right?
However, what is worth doing is supporting the sponsor of this video, Copilot. I've been using Copilot for nearly a year and a half, and in that time, I've actually had to scale back how much I talk about Copilot, because every time I'd hang out with a friend I hadn't seen for a while, I'd tell them about the service, and then once or twice...
I didn't notice. Yeah, I don't look at it. Side eye. Side eye. LMAO, do I need money? Yes. Always. Right now, yes. Hello, self-vibe mood. LOL. Do we get? I'm not gambling. I don't like gambling. I went to Vegas a couple years ago, and I spent too much money. Too much, like money that I spent too much. It probably really wasn't even that much, but I still didn't. I spent too much because it was that like, oh, I'm going to stop doing that. It was like, oh, it's my first time going to Vegas. I'm gonna experience it, and then I spent too much money. You know, but it is what it is. No, I told myself that if I gamble at all, it's gonna be my change jar. I have a change jar that I have. This is Sashi's song. And I said that's the only money I'm gonna use to gamble. Oh really, Iocane? Vegas is cool in like the realm that they got everything. Like I liked having everything, and like that was cool. I didn't like that there was I don't like the idea that alcohol is just gonna be so available to be had 24/7. Like there's never gonna be a time that somebody wouldn't be able to get alcohol during TwitchCon. That'll be kind of scary, but like everything else is dope. My best to say I try my best to explain that I'm a work in progress just like you. When you drove, that's the only time you've been? I went when I was little. I have family that lives there. Yeah, always have a buddy. Make sure you always have a buddy. Friendos, I appreciate you all. We're gonna go raid my friend, Matt Hall Plays. If you're a sub, you can copy this bottom raid call. And follow me on all my socials. I'll be back tomorrow. We're gonna be we're gonna have a fun stream tomorrow. I got a bunch of stuff back there, instruments from Five Below. It's keyed out, but that's fine. I got some instruments from Five Below, and we're going to try to make my new song with it, or sing my new song with it. It's gonna be fun. I love you all so much. Thanks for being here. Let's go raid Matt. I will see you tomorrow. Have an awesome night, Skittle. Thank you, friend. You have an awesome night. I love you all so much. See you later. Good.